Shout out to J&J.
So I just want to send a shout out to J&J Sports for having me once again.
This is, episodes, man. You guys got a real good thing going on.
What's up, everybody? I'm your favorite sports analyst, Jamar McKill, with my favorite co-host,
James Jurwitz.
and y'all finna get served with J&J Sports episode 92. Y'all, we are virtual right now this morning, and we got a very special guest, man. I'm gonna let him introduce himself, man. Go ahead, let him know who you is.
Yeah, how's it going? My name is Jordy, also fellow, sports journalist from the Houston area, but also a professional esports player. Was at the Houston Dynamo, currently a free agent, but yeah, I've been doing that and been doing the sports stuff. So I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us, man. Really appreciate you, man. We're gonna get into it though, James. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, man. First topic up, man. We got NFL football. So the Texans. I heard you're a Texans fan, man. So the Texans star
Yeah.
Joe Mixon has been raised. He's been issued a fine of $25,000 for bad comments he didn't say, but turned out he said something. This happened during the Texans and the Chiefs game.
hmm
Just since we got you here, man, I don't know if you've seen that game, but what were your thoughts about just how that game played out?
Yeah, I mean, going into halftime, you're only down one. As a Texans fan, you're excited. You feel good. You feel like they can go out and actually get it done at a tough place like Arrowhead. But second half came around and the calls were sloppy. You see Mahomes kind of. I mean, there's contact on some of the flags, but I just think Mahomes exaggerates the reaction. To get the call and get the flags. So I think that's what Joe Mixon and the entire Texans locker room were upset about. Just how easy it is to get that call when you're Mahomes. And that fine happened, and he did say some things in that post game interview, like we knew we were going to go against the refs, and although he is right, there's some certain things that you can't really say on the air. So yeah, I think that's where that fine happened.
Yeah. James, how you felt about it? I know we kind of talked about it. How do you feel about just after hearing his answer? How do you really feel?
This is one of those situations where, I mean, that fine that's a lot of money, $25,000 for, a few comments. And I don't know if it's a recent thing where the players aren't really allowed to talk about the refs, I guess, with the press. And I
Mhm.
think that has something to do with this for sure.
Mhm. Because I mean, I don't see nothing else. Like I said, they already making it NFL soft as it is. So the fact that you can't say anything out of frustration, you get fined. It's like, what can you
Mhm.
do, right? So, but just to get us started, you guys, do you think? I mean, even if he did say a vulgar comment, is it worth $25,000? I'll start with you, Jordy.
Nah, not at all. I mean, 25,000 is very excessive. I understand that he's an NFL player and he makes millions a year, but I mean 25,000 for just saying one small thing about the ref is a bit too far for me.
Yeah. What about you, James?
I think maybe around the $5,000 range would seem a little bit more fair. I mean, $25,000, that's a lot of money.
Right, you would have to do something crazy for 25. Definitely have to do something. If we kind of look at his stats this season, though, he had over 1,000 rushing yards, 245 carries, and 11 touchdowns. So, I mean, this Texans team has been up and down, man, been rocky. And just to kind of highlight exactly what he said everybody knows how it's playing up there. You can never leave it to the refs' hands. The whole world sees me, man. It is what it is. When it comes down to it, you can never leave it in the refs' hands. It's all good. So, I mean, I think the whole NFL feel a way, the teams feel a way about like the Chiefs, man. Like they really have it. Um, Even though this was said by one player, do you feel like most teams have felt this way about the Chiefs? And if so, which teams you think really like that played against them really feel like that? I'm gonna start with you, Jordan.
Yeah, definitely, man. I feel like I mean there's two teams in mind that come straight away, and one of them is the Ravens 100%, just because of how often they play the Chiefs every year, whether it's the championship game or in the playoffs in the regular season, whatever it is, they're bound to play the Chiefs multiple times a year. So, that's the first team that comes to mind for sure. And a guy like Lamar who's very emotional, you saw when they had that unfortunate loss with the Mark Andrews not being able to make the play at the end. Very frustrated and he let his emotions be known.
Mm.
So that's one team that comes to mind. And then another team is the Bengals, that comes to mind.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
I'll say those two teams. They got the Chiefs on their mind.
for sure. James, who your teams when it comes to mind?
Probably any of their AFC West division rivals, and especially
Sure,
the
yeah.
ones that made the playoffs. The Broncos, for example,
Mhm.
and definitely the Chargers. And the Chiefs, they're always getting the home field advantage throughout the playoffs and all of that. And it's easy to point to some of the decisions that the refs have made in those close games and blame it on that.
That is true. That is true. For me, y'all, it's three teams I have, man. The Eagles, because we all know that big Super Bowl game.
Oh yeah.
A lot blame from the refs. The 49ers, I feel like the 49ers is kind of like we already know what that was. You know what I mean? That was something else. And then the Ravens, like you said, Jordy, for sure. Yeah, it's personal. So y'all tell me this. They play, who was it, the Bills? What do y'all think the outcome is going to be for that game?
I think the Chiefs are gonna take it, man. I mean, I'd love to see Josh Allen, come out and finally make that Super Bowl happen. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to the Chiefs for sure, man. It's just the Chiefs are the Chiefs,
Yeah.
and the entire season they've not been playing great, and they've still managed to get this far. So I just can't see them losing. So I'm gonna go with the Chiefs, man.
Yeah. I respect that. James, what do you think?
I'm thinking definitely Kansas City, although if the Buffalo Bills are able to win that game, I think they're going to win their first Super Bowl because that's a good matchup against either the Commanders or the Eagles.
And like I said, I know the Bills beat the Chiefs in the regular season, and I mean it was so I don't know if they can do a rerun of that. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. We'll see. I can't wait to see. Is it tomorrow, right? I believe they
Yeah.
get tomorrow. So yeah, we'll keep you guys updated on that. And just to end this topic off, you guys, how would y'all rate the Texans' performance, like just as a team? How they played, get into the division, and just stuff like that. Jordy, I'm gonna start with you.
Yeah, throughout the entire season, I'd probably give them like a 6.5 out of 10, just because, you know, coming after that first year, we're so excited to see CJ Stroud come into his second year, try and break some records, lead this team. But, we didn't really see too much of that. And I don't know if it was because of Bobby Slowick, but actually, Bobby Slowick yesterday was announced that he won't be coming back with Texans. So, as a Texans fan myself, even personally, I'm excited to see who they get as an offensive coordinator for next year. But for now, yeah, like a 6.5 out of 10. Diggs got injured very early in the season as well, so we didn't get to see too much of Diggs. But Joe Mixon, I think offensive wise, probably our best player throughout the season, the most consistent. I'd have to give it to Joe Mixon. People didn't expect too much of him because of his age coming from the Bengals, and
Yeah,
but he did his thing, man. He did his thing. So yeah, 6.5.
definitely, definitely. James.
They showed so much promise in the playoffs, winning their first game there against the Chargers and that major explosion of points they had in that game. And I think it was like the end of the third or into the fourth quarter.
Mhm.
And I'm going to give them probably a 7 out of 10 just because the injuries, in a way, kind of give them a bit of a pass on some of their sloppy play in the season.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like Tank Dell, that whole situation with the ACL, if that didn't happen, like would things have been different? That's what I always kind of think about. Um, I give them a 7.5. Me, you know what I mean? Me personally, I think they, had a rough season, up and down. They still managed to make it to the division. Um, Even with limited players still dominating against the Chargers. But I feel like the Chargers, they beat themselves, to be honest, in my opinion. But yeah, I'll give that to them for sure. Definitely. But we'll keep you guys updated on Mixon, the Texans, just NFL football in general. Super excited to see what happens. Now we're gonna get into our next one, man.